Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and this weekend I am going to be filming a little reading vlog. Today is Friday, November 12th. I have the day off work, so it seemed the perfect opportunity to get a little bit of reading done, and I particularly want to start on my nonfiction November reading because, well, A, it's pretty much halfway through the month and I haven't started anything. And B, I'm going to be finishing a couple of fiction books this weekend, so I would like to get a start on some nonfiction. I might not get as much reading done as I initially planned because my daughter is actually homesick with a cold today, but she's just chilling out right now watching Pokemon, so I am going to go look at my nonfiction stack and see where I want to start. Running away.
Oh yeah, you said we can play Minotaur.
Yeah, do you want to play that after I'm done doing this? It'll only take me like 1 or 2 minutes.
I want to be on it too.
Okay, you can be on it too. Okay, so I finished the intro and the first chapter of Hood Feminism, and so far I like it, but I don't know how much new information I'm going to get from this. One chapter in, I don't think it's fair to make like any big assessments. So the first chapter is called I can't remember, it's called something like Solidarity is for White Women. So basically introducing the main crux of the entire book, which is that the things that mainstream feminism are fighting for, the things that mainstream popular feminists advocate for, are things that benefit white women and not necessarily benefit Black women or women of color. So I pulled a couple of quotes that really stuck out from the introduction. Instead of a framework that focuses on helping women get basic needs met, all too often the focus is not on survival, but on increasing privilege. For a movement that is meant to represent all women, it often centers on those who already have most of their needs met. So I think that really just puts into context like where Mikki Kendall is coming from and kind of the arguments she's going to be making throughout this book. Does Pikachu like the book that I'm talking about? Yeah, Pikachu's a big feminist. The thing that I want her to dive more into, because like I said, a lot of this like I've heard before, but there was this one bit that really jumped out at me about the like strong Black woman stereotype. So I've heard a lot about the angry Black woman stereotype and how that is harmful, but I've never really heard anyone talk about the strong woman stereotype before in this way. So here's the bit I wanted to read from the section about strong Black women. The myth of the strong Black woman has made it so that white women can tell themselves that it is okay to expect us to wait to be equal with them. The fact that Black women are supposedly tougher than white women means that we are built to face abuse and ignorance, and that our need for care or concern is less pressing. So I'm really interested to see if she delves more into that, because that's not a narrative that I've heard much of before. So yes, liking it so far, but just waiting for it to get a little bit meatier. I'm probably going to take a break from Hood Feminism. I promised Coraline that I would play a board game with her, right?
And it's Minotaur.
We're going to play Minotaur. It's a Lego labyrinth game with a Minotaur, right? And I'm going to play that with her. And then later this evening, I think I'm not going to pick up Hood Feminism again, but I am going to, I think, crack open Dancing at the Pity Party, a dead mom graphic memoir. Okay, so here's our men, right? Our little soldier guys. Or they soldiers, they knights. They're supposed to be knights.
And this is our Minotaur.
And that's the Minotaur.
Bum, bum, bum.
I'm about 30 or so pages into Dancing at the Pity Party, and I really, really like it. And I really am connecting with it a lot. I mean, I knew I would as someone who's lost a parent. I didn't know how strongly it would relate to me, because everyone experiences grief differently. But I should have known based on the title that it would. But I'm someone who's very sarcastic and I use humor as a defense mechanism. And just the style of writing and how Tyler Fetter incorporates kind of a little bit of gallows humor, I guess, mixed in with, you know, some sentimentality, just really speaks to me. I want to show you one panel that when I saw it, I was like, is Tyler Fetter in my brain right now? This right here, I relate to so hard. I didn't want pity and I definitely didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable. Ever comforted someone else about the death of your own parent? It's very awkward. Yeah, this scene right here, I've lived that scene many times. And yeah, I'm just really, really enjoying how Tyler Fetter talks about grief and those awkward spaces and the way that it's so like messy and not how you expect it to be. I finished Dancing at the Pity Party. I read basically 3/4 of it last night, until I was just like too sleepy to read anymore. And then I got up and read the rest of it. I loved this. I loved this. I think so many people would like this. First of all, anyone who has lost a parent, even if the circumstances are different to her, she lost her mom when she was 19 to cancer. My circumstance was very, very different, but I still connect with this. And I think regardless of like the exact circumstances of how you lose a parent, that this could speak to a lot of people who have lost parents at a relatively young age. I just think it helps put into words and pictures too. Like, I think the fact that this is a graphic memoir works so well because she's able to put into words what it's like to lose a parent and the aftermath of that, like dealing with people and like the awkwardness of that. But also just like the pictures, I think add a very necessary level to this, because sometimes you just simply can't put things into words, and sometimes even just a little doodle visually represents those emotions. I thought that it just encapsulated those feelings really, really well. So I think for people who could connect to that material, obviously they would enjoy this. I also think people who haven't had that experience, I think this book could be actually helpful, especially to young people, like teenagers or people like in their 20s who, who haven't really had to deal with death. If a friend loses a parent, it can be really, really hard to know how to react to that. And while this isn't like a book, like a self-help book, or it's not a blueprint for this is what you should say to your friends, it does have a lot of that information, like the things that helped her, or there is like one kind of, slightly sarcastic page that's kind of like the do's and don'ts of like what to say and what not to say. And I do actually think they're helpful because people mean well, but they can say things that are just not helpful in the moment or after the moment. And I would really recommend this to young people who like really don't know how to act around a friend. Maybe I think this could be helpful in that way as well. I also just think it was, well, it's about Tyler and her grief. I think it was also a really beautiful tribute to her mom and like who her mom was. And I found that just like very touching. So I'm giving this 5 stars. So I'm about 20% of the way through Hood Feminism now. My general impression so far is that it's a very good overview of the different issues that women face and how those aren't really the talking points in the media when we talk about feminism. So the last two chapters that I read were on gun violence and on hunger, or I guess specifically food insecurity. And the arguments are all like logical and reasonable, so no complaints about that. But I don't think it's a super in-depth look. I think this book, from what I can tell so far, is a very basic look at all of these things that mainstream feminism might not really consider feminist issues, which in actuality are. Like, for instance, when we think of gun violence, we typically think of it affecting men, specifically black men, but like men as the victims of gun violence, when it affects black women and women of color a lot, because, well, poor women also live in areas where gun violence is higher, and also women are much more likely to be killed by guns in incidents of domestic violence. Her arguments are all valid, and I'm enjoying it insofar as it's giving a good overview of all of these things that we don't typically see talked about as feminist issues. But I don't think I'm going to get the deep dive that I really want from it. But anyway, I wanted to make this an entire weekend reading vlog. I had these plans to read all of this nonfiction this weekend. My reading vlog didn't go as planned because, like I mentioned, Friday was supposed to be my day off to like get all this reading done, and my daughter ended up having to stay home sick with a cold. We got her tested. It's like not COVID. And it's only Saturday night, and I had planned to continue vlogging all day Sunday, but I am feeling now that I am probably coming down with the same cold. I got this like tickle in my throat, and I just like feel it coming on. Predicting that I'm probably going to be sick with a cold tomorrow, I am going to end the vlog here. I hope you are enjoying some nonfiction this month as well. And thanks everyone for watching, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.